From the A1, the origin of the bomber jacket, to the A2, built for utility and action, and the B3, a masterpiece born to conquer extreme cold, down to the present day. We will explore the fierce history woven into this rugged leather gear and meet the Korean artisan crafting the B3 today. No need to memorize complex dates. That is not the point. Let's turn the clock back to 1927. The U.S. Army Air Corps released the first standard flight suit, the A1. The defining feature of the A1, the father of bomber jackets, was its buttons. Zippers existed, but early metal zippers often froze or failed at high altitudes. Knit cuffs on the neck and sleeves blocked the wind. Classic and elegant, isn't it? But for fighter pilots, fastening buttons one by one was a hassle. So in 1931, the legendary A2 jacket appeared. Zippers replaced buttons. The knit neck became a neat shirt-style collar. Snap buttons were added to secure the collar against the wind. Made of sturdy horsehide, the A2 was the pilot's pride. However, the A2 had a fatal weakness: the cold. Cotton lining could not withstand the freezing temperatures of high altitudes. As technology advanced, bombers flew higher. The stage shifted to the heavy zone, a realm between -30 and 50 degrees. Here, the history of the B-series winter jackets begins. In 1934, the king of flight jackets, the B3, was born. Its core is uncompromising warmth. The key is the material, not separate leather and lining, but shearling, sheepskin tanned with the wool intact. Dense wool over 1.5 centimeters thick traps air layers. The moment you wear it, body heat has no escape. Literally, it is like wearing a whole sheep. Note a crucial detail here. The knit cuffs found on the A1 and A2 are missing on the B3. The reason is survival. At -50 degrees, sweat-soaked knits freeze into ice blades, causing frostbite. So fur covers the sleeves, and leather belts cinch the waist. The massive collar, the symbol of the B3, stands up in emergencies, secured tightly by 2 leather straps. Except for the eyes, the face is buried in wool, creating perfect insulation. When we say bomber jacket, we think of Top Gun romance or Marilyn Monroe, but the B3 had no room for such leisure. Inside a -50-degree bomber, this was not a stylish uniform. It was a life support system as vital as an oxygen mask. Of course, evolution continued after that. The slimmer B6, the B10 born of leather shortages, the B15 opening the nylon era, to the modern MA1. Technology made clothes lighter and more functional, yet we still seek the heavy, uncomfortable B3. Perhaps for the romance and heritage that functional fabrics cannot provide. While factories worldwide compromise for efficiency, there is one place walks the righteous path. In a small Korean workshop, instead of assembly lines, an artisan's time flows, pouring soul into each garment. For 40 years, touching only leather, let's meet the perfect ruggedness created by his tenacity. Every masterpiece begins with flawless raw materials. The B3 requires top-tier sheepskin. Wool density must reach thousands of strands per square inch to form an extreme insulation layer. Making one B3 jacket requires an average of 6 to 7 sheepskins. But the true value lies hidden inside the leather. Let's look deeper. Under a microscope, sheep's wool is an engineering marvel. Each hair is hollow. These tiny air pockets stack up to form a massive thermal shield. This primordial warmth trapped in leather is something 1940s technology could never mimic. On strictly selected leather, the blueprint to recreate the 80-year-old original fit unfolds. The craftsman unfolds the leather and lays out the pattern. Ignoring the grain twists the clothes, so the artisan's eye is sharper than ever. Large areas like shoulders and backs allow no errors. This keen eye comes only from decades of experience. The artisan's fingerprints converse with every pore of the leather. Machines measure thickness, but the artisan feels density. Calculations are done. Now, the cutting process decides the leather's fate with a single stroke. The blade digs into the 2.5 millimeter tissue. Hand cutting is insisted upon to prevent the wool from being crushed or pushed. The cut surface must be clean. Rough edges become seeds of cracks that reduce durability. The cross-section reveals the perfect contrast between dense outer leather and rich inner wool. Cutting is done, but sewing cannot start yet. Once pierced, leather is unforgiving, so precise guidelines are needed. White chalk paves the way on the rough sheepskin. It is a sketch to wake flat leather into a 3D garment, a milestone guiding the needle without a single error. Once the guide is set, rough scissors boldly cut the pocket opening. Here, a core know-how of B3 production is revealed, shaving the wool around the opening. If 1.5 centimeters thick wool overlaps, the pocket bulges clumsily, ruining the fit. So we secure space for the pocket in advance. Marking coordinates for the sturdy leather belt that seals the coat in bitter cold. The artisan holds his breath and trims unnecessary wool where pockets, belts, and seams overlap. Just as they cared for pilots in cold hangars 80 years ago. Wild leather is being tamed at the artisan's fingertips into clothes humans can wear. Now to sew flat parts into a 3D garment. Starting with the right front and shoulder. Standard sewing machines cannot handle this thick fur. Only a custom high-power motor combined with the artisan's strength drives the needle forward. Fixing the back panels firmly. The machine advances like a tank, crushing the tough wool. A reinforced steel needle strikes the leather 2,000 times a minute. Friction heat at the needle tip is immense. One slip ruins the hide, creating heavy tension in the workshop. Connecting the opposite shoulder. As the needle breaks the tough resistance, thick waxed nylon thread fills the gap. As the needle exits, the leather's elasticity seals the hole, locking the thread forever. Sewing the sleeve parts. This is not simple joining. It is a physical fusion created by the tension between two materials. The binding process firmly wraps rough seams. Here, a unique B3 process appears. The artisan stitches a thin, dark leather strip over the seam. This strip is not just for style. Sheepskin is warm but has low tensile strength, tearing easily. Cow or horsehide is tough. So at high-stress joints, we build a skeleton with stronger leather. This is why the B3 looks rugged and a prime example of technical limits becoming designed. Early U.S. forces tried introducing the electric F-1 Blue Bunny suit instead of sheepskin, but technology failed, wires shorted, frequently burning pilots. Eventually, pilots ditched high-tech and chose the B3. The sheepskin jacket wrapped in rugged leather strips. Only natural materials could be trusted. Thus, the seams become the jacket's strongest skeleton. No gale can pierce this double defense. Here, the B3's defining feature is completed. the sleeve without knits. Choosing rugged survival instincts over flashy technique. This is why the B3 exudes masculine charm, transcending time. What machines cannot do, the hammer finishes, pounding raised seams to bind the tissue. With every heavy hammer blow, the thick, rising joints. Calm down. The moment the zipper closes, external storms are perfectly blocked. This solid boundary keeping warmth is joined to the front panel. Leather is muscle. The zipper is the spine. Cheap plastic shatters in sub-zero temps, but the B3 must work in extremes. So much thicker and stronger metal zippers are used. The massive brass zipper is designed to be operated even with thick leather gloves. Brass was the only metal that didn't freeze or break at minus 50 degrees. The artisan ensures the zipper flows smoothly along the leather's curve, creating a perfect line without 1 millimeter of distortion, smoothly yet locking firmly. This engagement proves a well-made leather jacket. Time to unite the separate front and back panels, connecting shoulder and sidelines, raising flat leather into the shape of a human torso. This process balances the jacket's weight, since the B3 itself is very heavy at the shoulder seam, must withstand this load solidly. The leather taping applied earlier proves its worth here. A strong frame prevents the clothes from collapsing and lets them sit comfortably on the pilot's shoulders. After sewing the front and back, the core determining the jacket's impression, the collar, is made. The artisan adds a layer of tough leather where buckles go. This reinforcement ensures the clothes endure without screaming, even when straps are pulled tight. In extreme conditions, this strap and buckle wrapping the neck is the pilot's lifeline. Wearing goggles and a flight cap in minus 50-degree winds, tightening the neck strap makes the huge wool collar fill the gap under the helmet perfectly. The neck strap has a hidden detail, an anti-suffocation design, since tightening too much in extremes can press the airway. The original B3 strap is precisely twisted to wrap the chin, avoiding the throat. Modern reproductions find that minute angle only after dozens of pattern revisions. After sewing the collar, finally, the sleeves are connected. Connecting the sleeves is the hardest sewing section. Fitting a cylinder sleeve into a cylinder body to create a 3D curve. It's not pushing straight through. The artisan rotates the leather minutely, following the flow of the curve to complete the armhole. If this angle is slightly off, raising the arm pulls the whole jacket up. For pilots operating overhead switches in cramped cockpits, this armpit angle was a design for survival. Now to set the waistline. Unlike the A2, the B3 has leather belts and buckles on both sides instead of knits. These side buckles adjusted body heat and fit by tightening or loosening. In the cramped cockpit, where heavy metal buckles meet leather straps, powerful sewing is needed again. General George Patton, the first U.S. tank commander in World War II, also enjoyed wearing this B3, his image commanding from a tank. Wearing the B3 made this garment a symbol of authority, on the ground as well as in the sky. Sewing is done, but it's not finished. Final inspection and finishing remain. Chaotic wool finds order. Unnecessary fuzz is removed, leaving only elite agents for insulation, checking and removing. loose threads and stains. This garment is now no longer a lump of leather. It's a perfect system created by thousands of cuts and tens of thousands of stitches. Decades of time accumulated experience is contained in this one suit. Machines make clothes, but only human hands breathe soul into them. The finished B3 jacket is not sleek. It is rugged, heavy, and rough. But in that imperfection hides perfect functional beauty. The real charm of the B3 is aging. As the coating peels, the inner color reveals itself. As time passes, wrinkles form with movement, and the exposed inner skin creates a unique history. Synthetic fibers become trash when old, but leather becomes history. The ensemble of leather and fur that protected human warmth inside cold metal machines. Technology changes, but emotion cannot be replaced, so this armor of the sky will remain an imperishable legacy. The war ended, and propeller sounds changed to the roar of jet engines. Pilots no longer sit in cockpits wearing heavy sheepskin. Military gear that served its purpose usually disappears into museums. But the B3 was different. It survived and evolved. In the 1950s, for soldiers returning home, this coat was a token of survival. But to the public, it came as a symbol of rebellion and strength. As Hollywood stars began wearing it, the B3 achieved a dramatic rise, from uniform to fashion. And in the 21st century, the B3's future stands at an interesting crossroad. The first path is reinterpretation. High-end fashion brands put the B3 on the runway every winter, maximizing shearling softness, or varying the design, reborn not as a tool against cold, but as luxurious armor. Ironically, the more radical the design changes, the more people miss the original's ruggedness. The second path is the new challenge of sustainability. Matching modern concerns, B3s using vegan shearling or eco-leather are appearing. But a paradox exists here. Clothes made of synthetic materials easily become fast fashion, worn for a few years and discarded. But a properly made natural B3, if well maintained, can be passed down to grandchildren, which is truly eco-friendly. The B3 asks us a profound question, and the final path is the preservation of heritage. Like the artisans in this workshop we are watching, there are those who still hold the needle in the 1940s way. If efficiency mattered, this method should have vanished. But as digital replaces everything, people crave the warmth of handmade things. Consumers won't just buy finished clothes, but the time of aging with them. The essence of the B3 jacket does not change. In extreme environments, that inherent warmth, trying to protect humans and the strength to withstand time. 100 years from now, someone will pull an old B3 from a closet. Even then, it won't be tacky, and above all, it will be reliable. Because trends are momentary, but style is eternal. What kind of clothes do you want to own? Please talk freely in the comments below. And next time, which classic manufacturing process would you like to see? Leave your curiosity in the comments. As digital duplicates everything, we crave the analog warmth of handmade things, the reliable warmth of history that overcame the bitter cold. This winter, why not wear this armor of the sky and feel the warmth of history? Thank you for watching.